Hello, Pauper fans. This is Mathonical, and you are joining me today for the October 29th Pauper Challenge. This time I decided to go with a bit of an interesting deck. Since I had kind of been on the Boros Monarch hype train and kind of got that rolling, I'd been counteracting it with Rally Gond, but it is a bit hit and miss, and I was expecting a bit more hate for it this time around. I was also expecting a lot of people to be gunning for Boros Monarch this week, so, as many of you noticed, I did not post any videos last week. I ended up spending the entire week working on this deck and playing a lot of leagues with it, testing out various combinations of cards, because I realized that the best way to beat Boros Monarch, or at least one of the ways in my opinion that was also strong against the rest of the metagame, was to have repeatable board wipes, so that way all the additional cards they draw don't actually matter. So, I present to you the list I came up with of black, white Pestilence. Some people are also calling it like Orzhov Monarch, Orzhov Pestilence, anything like that. Basically, the entire deck hinges around having a Pestilence on the board where you get to just continually destroy all of their creatures, and you're trying to draw additional cards with a Palace Sentinels at some point. Basically, you're also trying to keep the Pestilence around, so we're playing a lot of high toughness creatures like Core Skyfisher, Aven Rift Watcher, Palace Sentinels, and of course the Guardian of the Guild pack, which is immune to the damage from the Pestilence, so that is our main combo. The interesting tech that I like to bring in, I have the one of Gift or Rezova. If we can try and ever hook this up on a Guardian of the Guild pack, it is very easy for us to win, since we're able to have a 3/4 flying lifelink creature for the rest of the game. We also have a lot of game against various aggro strategies, since we have early plays with Raven Spectre, Core Skyfisher, gaining cards and playing creatures. We also have Lone Missionaries and Aven Rift Watchers main boards, so that way we can gain a lot of life, block creatures, bounce them, replay them with Core Skyfishers, awesome stuff like that. I've brought in a little extra removal in this. I felt like since the meta is fairly aggro at the moment, we do want some like Disfigures, Chainer's Edicts, Doomblade type effects. Crypt Rat is just our kind of like fifth Pestilence. It's an effect since the deck is kind of built around waiting to wipe the board. Having additional ways of wiping the board is very good. And just a couple Night Whispers just to kind of draw some additional cards. I did my math thing using the hypogeometric calculator that you've probably seen in one of my previous videos. I went through all the math and numbers to come up with this mana base. Essentially, I wanted exactly, or a minimum of 16 white sources, since more than half the deck is white. We absolutely want to be hitting our white sources every single game, but we only really need one for our deck to operate. A second one is sometimes nice to be able to play multiple spells in turn, but one is essential. A lot of lists I've seen online only had 14 sources. That is way too low. 16 gives us much better odds. We also have 18 black sources. The reason why we have a lot of those is because Crypt Rats and Pestilence benefit from having a lot of black sources on the field. So we want to have like 4 to 6 black sources by turn 7 to 8. So that is why we're very heavy on the black source count, even though there's less total cards with black in their casting cost. And quite often, if we have a white source or two, what you want to be doing with this deck is searching out the additional swamps, which is why we've leaned heavier towards the swamps, and then plains, and then we just have like utility lands as extra white sources and a couple black sources. Yeah, Drupa Bog is great in this metagame. That's why we've got 2 of those. You could always go Mortuary Mire instead of one of these, but I definitely wanted additional Exile and Graveyard effects main board. I was kind of expecting Tron this week. I don't think I saw much of it, but that's alright. And yeah, in the sideboard, basically just a classic my way of sideboarding. Little extra of like the Palace Sentinels. Definitely need some of the Flag Bearer effect, and this week I have gone with some Coalition Honor Guards. The rest is amazing. Doomblade, just some additional removal effects for all of the aggro fast style that is going on in the format right now. I love a retrace mechanic in the deck, especially if you're in a mid-range strategy like this is. Being able to pick apart their hand is what we want. It's either this or a Sen's Enlistment, and in this deck I definitely want the Raven's Prime. Sen's Enlistment is a non-bow with Pestilence. Some Choking Sands to deal with Tron and various other decks that want to gain a lot of mana, and some Relic Progenitus to just extra graveyard hate. Let's see, the last cards that are a bit interesting. Prismatic Strands, you guys know I love this card. I have it in like every deck I play. and the Wall of Hope. This is just a one of. It's just another nice thing to play early on as a protection from aggro. It's great to get this down turn 1 against Stompy and just kind of like gain some life, block their creatures. It's great. It's also a combo with the Pestilence, being able to gain, like basically take no damage ourselves whenever we're activating it, since it does 1 damage to everything, including the Wall of Hope, which gains us a life, so great. It's a combo. So basically, if you want to play this deck yourself, the flex slots are the Wall of Hope, the Night's Whispers, Doomblades, Gift of Rezova. Technically, the Crypt Rat, you may or may not want that. Essentially, you can play around with those cards. And the sideboards are always very flexible. So that is basically what we're going to be playing this week. Join me for all these games to see it in action. Since I've only been playing with this deck for 1 week, I've basically built it, refined it over the course of the week. My play won't be the tightest, or at least not as tight as it is with Rallygon. I've got 100 matches or more with Rallygon, so I'm obviously going to play better with that deck. This one I've only got about 15 matches coming into the tournament, so we'll be learning the deck together. I guess I will also mention that previous weeks to this last week, I have been working on like a Boggles list, because I've been trying to work on lists that would beat Boros Monarch for quite some time, and Boggles is the first obvious choice since it dodges all of the removal. Unfortunately, I couldn't come up with a list I was happy with, and I always felt it was a little too inconsistent, having the Utopia sprawls in there needing forests, but then you need whites for various things. I couldn't quite get the mana to line up in a way that I liked, and when I got the mana lined up, then I was having other issues with the deck. And while I did 5-0 a league or two with Boggles, it never was consistent enough for me. So I gave up on that plan and looked at alternatives, and this is the deck I came up with, and I'm much happier with this list. It's much more solid of a game plan. It doesn't fold to itself because you're playing a lot more lands, and you've got late game inevitability against a lot of decks. So I hope you do enjoy watching these videos. Please, as you're going along, if you see alternative lines of play, please put them in the comments section. It helps both you and myself as we discuss various lines of play. And as always, like and subscribe. It helps let me know that you guys are enjoying these videos, and I will continue to produce more of these in the future. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the series.